everybody, thanks for coming back to my channel. This week we're breaking down the lyrics to Impossible by RIIZE. Let's go! Okay, so we're starting with the opening chorus, and it goes, got me flying in my dreams right now. 모두가 불가능해 안 된다고 하지 왜? And that means everyone says it can't be done. Why? 모두가 means like everybody, everyone, or everything. 불가능해 comes from the verb 불가능하다, which means to be impossible. This 안 된 comes from the phrase 안 돼, and it means no, or you can't do that, or no way. 다고 is what you put at the end of a phrase when you're quoting somebody. 하지 comes from the verb 하다, which means to do, and 왜 means why. And I just want to make one note about this line in particular. Somebody online said, with punctuation, no inversion of 왜, and poetic omissions restored, the question would be like, 왜 모두가 불가능해 안 된다고 하지? So this line is just like a shortened and poetic version of what the full question would be. So, 모두가 불가능해 안 된다고 하지 왜? Kind of means everyone says it's impossible and you can't do it. Why? Okay, now we're in verse 1, and it goes, 2 a.m. 꿈속이 익숙한 잠든 까만 밤에도. And that means in a dream that feels familiar, even in this dark night's sleep. 꿈속 means in a dream. kum is a dream, and 속 means in. 익숙한 comes from the verb 익숙하다, which means to be skilled or experienced or familiar. 잠든 comes from the verb 잠들다, which means to go to sleep or to fall asleep. 까만 comes from the verb 까마다, which means to be pitch black or dark. 밤 is night, 에 is a location marker, and 도 means even or even if. So, 꿈속이 익숙한 means in a dream that feels familiar, and I just want to say this grammar is a little off because normally you would put the adjective before the noun, but yeah. Anyway. 잠든 까만 밤에도, even in the night where it's dark and you're sleeping, or I guess even in this dark night's sleep. Next lines are, I know you, you know me, 너 없인 모든 게 impossible. And that means without you, it's all impossible. 너 is you. 없인 comes from the verb 없다, which means to not be somewhere, to not exist, or to not have. 모든 게 means everything. So, 너 없인 모든 게 impossible means without you, everything is impossible. Alright, now we're in the pre-chorus, and it goes, 한 걸음 걸음 너의 꿈에 moving on 가까워지는 나의 맘이 to be strong, strong. And that means one step, two step to my dream. Moving on. Your heart getting closer and saying, to be strong. Han comes from the word hana, which means one. 걸음 is like a step, but when it's back to back like this, I'm pretty sure it means like step by step, or one step, two step. Na is me or I, and e is a possessive particle, so me or I becomes my. kum is a dream, and e is a location marker. 가까워지는 comes from the verb 가까워지다, which means to approach or get closer to. 너 is you, and 에 is a possessive particle, so 너의 becomes your. 맘 is a heart. So, 한 걸음 걸음 나의 꿈에 means one step, two step, or step by step to my dream. Moving on. 가까워지는 나의 맘이 means your heart is getting closer. Alright, now we're in the full chorus, and it goes, got me flying in my dreams right now. 모두가 불가능해 안 된다고 하지 왜? Can't lose. It's impossible. Got me dying to realize it now. 모두 너로 가능해. 넌 나 왕성하게 해. Without you. It's impossible. And that means, got me dying to realize it now. With you, it's all possible. I'm complete. 모두 means all. 너로 means with you. no means you, and ro means through, with, as, yeah. 가능해 comes from the verb 가능하다, which means to be possible. 넌 is you, 날 is me, 완성 is complete, and the ending 하게 해 comes from the ending phrase 하게 하다, which means to make something something. So 완성하게 해 means make something complete. So 모두 너로 가능해 means with you all is possible. 넌 날 완성하게 해 means you make me complete. Alright, now we're in verse 2 and it goes, just one more, 열어줘, let me know. 난 그래 너의 맘을 touching. And that means just one more, open up to me, let me know. At last, I'm touching your heart. 열어줘 comes from the verb 열다, which means to open. The ending 줘 can be one of two things. It can mean that you're taking this word and making it a command, like telling somebody to open up. But it can also mean like do it for me. Actually, for the longest time, I always thought that seeing 줘 at the end of a verb just turned it into a command. But really, 줘 is the shortened form of 주세요, which means please give me blank. So when 줘 is at the end of a verb, it just means please do this for me. And it's like the really casual version of it. So it's not very, you wouldn't use that with an elder. But yeah, 줘 literally just means please do this for me. 난 is me or I. 근데, I believe, comes from the verb 끝내다, which means to finish, end something, to complete something, or to conclude something. But in this context, it's apparently supposed to mean at last. So I'm assuming that the 끝내 here kind of means like at the end, or at the finish line, or in conclusion. Okay, so I figured out what this was because I asked somebody online. And they said, 끝내다 is the verb, which means to end something. 끝 is the noun, which is just an end. And 끝내 is an adverb, meaning finally or at last. 너의 means your. 너 is you, and 에 is a possessive particle, so you becomes your. Mom is heart. 열어줘, let me know, means open up to me, let me know. 난 끝내 너의 맘을 touching, means at last I'm touching your heart. Next lines are 하나뿐인 너의 꿈이 저 멀리 나게 다. And that means my only dream reaching you there beyond. 하나뿐인 kind of means like one and only. 하나 is one and 뿐 means only. 나의 means my. 나 is me or I, and it's got a possessive particle, so it becomes my. 꿈 is a dream. 저 means like that over there. 멀리 comes from the verb 멀다, which means to be far or distant. 너에게 means to you, with 너 meaning you, and the 에게 part meaning to. 다하, 다하 at the end comes from the verb 닿다, which means to touch or reach. So, 하나뿐인 나의 꿈이 means my one and only dream. 저 멀리 너에게 닿아 means reaching you at that distant place, so reaching you there beyond. The last lines from verse 2 are 그게 번쩍하는 beating, and that apparently means beating its wings and rising higher. 크게 comes from the verb 크다, which means to be big or to grow. Okay, in the original shooting of this, I interpreted the 크게 to mean to grow, but it actually means big in this context. Also, the 번쩍하는 comes from the verb 번지다, which means to spread. So in the next clip, I have it written that 크게 means to grow, but it actually means big. So 크게 번쩍하는 beaten kind of means it's growing and spreading and beaten. All right, now we're in the second pre-chorus, and it goes 멈추지 않아 이미 우린 moving on, moving on. 익숙해진 함께란 말이 to be strong, strong. And that means no stopping. We already moving on. Gotten used to that magic word together. To be strong, strong. 멈추 comes from the verb 멈추다, which means to stop or halt. The ending 지않아 means not, and it turns things negative. 이미 means already. 우린 means we. 익숙해진 comes from the verb 익숙하다, which means to be familiar. 함께 means together. The ending ran, so hard to describe. You use it when you're about to describe what something is. But what I'll say here is that the ran gives the word together quotation marks. In this context, ran means that what they're describing is this, which is together. And 말 is a word, talk, expression, or a phrase. It also means horse, but definitely not in this context. Okay, so 멈추지 않아 means not stopping. 이미 우린 means we are already moving on. 익숙해진 함께란 말이 means that familiar word together. Actually, the verb is 익숙해지다, which means to become familiar or to become accustomed to something. So instead of this line meaning the word together that I'm familiar with, it more so means the word together that I have become accustomed to. Then we get the chorus all over again, and then they go, give me that beat, and then it's like, to realize with you, got me flying to realize it now. Can't lose, it's impossible. And that's the end of Impossible. Thank you so much for watching this video. As always, you can leave your suggestions and corrections in the comment section below. I love to hear your feedback. Also, you can follow me on Instagram if you want to find bite-sized versions of what I do here on YouTube. I'll see you next Sunday, and in the meantime, I hope you have a great week. Bye! Got me flying in my dreams right now. 모두가 불가능해 underdog 하지 왜 can't lose it's impossible got me dying to realize it now. Okay.